Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel Advanced Visual. Feel free to call me AV for short, and today's video was actually requested by ETZR. My bad if I pronounced your name wrong. But yeah, I was going to show you guys my sensitivity both on Cold War and Warzone, but I thought it would be a better idea if I show you guys my settings in both Cold War and Warzone. So yeah, that's going to be for today's video. So before we get on with the video, if you find these settings helpful or just in general enjoy the video, make sure you drop a like, and if you want to continue to support me, consider subscribing to the channel, click the bell so you get notified whenever I upload, share with all your friends, and yeah, let's get on with the video. Also guys, keep in mind I made this video to show y'all my settings both on Cold War and Warzone. So I don't recommend y'all to copy down the exact same settings I have, but if you want to, feel free, I'm not stopping y'all. But I don't 100% guarantee you guys you'll find everything helpful, because when it comes down to most of the settings, it's usually all personal preference. So starting off with Cold War, we'll be looking at sensitivity first. So for my horizontal and vertical, I play a 12 and 12 in my ADS low zoom 1.2 and my ADS high zoom 4. So for my button layout, I use tactical, which is honestly the best and what everyone should be running. For my ADS and shooting button, I have flipped, which is L1 and R1, which honestly I recommend you guys to try it out, and trust me, it's much better than using the default trigger buttons. I'm only go over the settings that I personally think are important, so yeah, keep that in mind. So moving on to my aim response curve, I have on linear. If you still have on standard, I really recommend you to change it to linear or dynamic, but this comes down to all personal preferences, so I'm rocking with linear as of right now. Controller vibration disabled, target aim assist mode standard, and if you play fire team elimination armor behavior, I recommend apply all. So yeah, left stick minimum input 5, left stick max input 99, my right stick minimum input 7 since I have a bit drift but not as much, right stick max input 99. In the trigger dead zone, I recommend everyone to put it to 0.01. And for the final setting I have on controller is auto sprint, which I recommend it because it helps out a lot with your movement. So yeah. For the graphics settings, I have on colorblind type Tritonopia, for it gives it a bit more coloring on console. Brightness, I have on 58, my FOV 1010. Here's another thing, this one's all personal preference, but what I recommend is somewhere between 90 through 110. That's the best FOV you could have on console. ADS field of view affected, recommend that. Motion blur, of course, disabled. And I think that's all it for Cold War settings. The audio interface, I don't think so I really need to go over that. Unless you guys want to, comment down below, so I'm gonna make a separate video for the audio interface both on Cold War and Warzone. So if you ended up copying down all my settings, I really do hope you guys find some of it helpful. So let's move on to Warzone. So here we are on Warzone. Starting off with the button layout, I have on the tactical flipped. Like I said before, this is the best button layout you guys should be using. And for my shooting and ADS buttons, of course, flipped L1 and R1. So for my dead zone, I have on 0.07. This is all up to your controller's stick drift. So moving on to my sensitivity, I have on both horizontal and vertical 14 and 14. I recently changed it from 16 because I felt like it was a bit too fast for me. ADS low zoom 1.2, ADS high zoom 1.2. So for my aim response curve, same thing like in Cold War, I have on linear, up to you, linear or dynamic. Recommend you guys to change it if you still have on standard. My aim assist is on standard. And for my use/reload behavior, I use contextual tap, which is something very helpful because you could pick up anything by just tapping it without having to hold your square button. And I'll show you guys an example on the screen.
UAV overhead.
So for my armor plate behavior, apply all. Recommend everyone to change it to apply one to apply all. Slide behavior, if you have on hold, change it to tap, because it's gonna be way more simpler to have that slide canceling. And for my final setting on controller for Warzone, I have on automatic tactical sprint, which turn this up because it's very helpful when it comes to movement. So for my general settings, which is the graphics settings, I have on my brightness 57, and for my colorblind type, I have on Deuteranopia, which is something I really recommend you to change it, because it'll make your game look way much better. I'm gonna show you guys an example. You see guys, it just makes the map on console look way much better. So if you don't like how Deuteranopia looks, I recommend Tritanopia, which is another one that looks very good, but I prefer Deuteranopia. Colorblind type, target, both, and world motion blur, of course, disabled. Same with weapon motion blur, disabled. Minimap square, if you still have on round, change it to square because you can see more on the map, especially if you have a advanced UAV or just a UAV in general. And that's all for the Warzone settings, but like I said, if you want an audio settings, I'll make a separate video with the Cold War audio and interface. Just comment down below. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys will find any of these settings helpful, but if you didn't, like I said in the beginning of the video, I don't 100% guarantee it will work for everyone, because it's when it comes down to settings, it's all personal preferences. But there is some settings that everyone should change, but not every setting is meant for everyone. In the future, I'm gonna make updated settings for both Cold War and Warzone, and you guys will see if I've changed anything from this video. So let's wrap up the video. If you find any of these settings helpful or just in general enjoy my video, make sure to drop a like. And if you're a new viewer and want to continue to support me, maybe consider subscribing to the channel. Click the bell so you don't miss whenever I upload. Share with all your friends. So hopefully y'all enjoyed. Stay positive. Have a great day, y'all. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.